Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Fernleaf Islands. In the last episode, Seafoam and Quicksand had a little bit of a shock when the birth of their very first babies drew the attention of a carnivore in the grass. Luckily, we were able to defend all of the children. We have little Tide Pool here, and we have little Sandstorm as well, who are both so young that they couldn't even step out of the nest to try to get away from the carnivore that spawned. So we were very lucky, and if it was some sort of challenge sent to us by our gods and our goddesses, our goddess of war maybe, then I think we have definitely passed. And I think maybe that means that we're just one step closer to getting to the jungle. I believe it was Umbra who landed the finishing blow thanks to some quick thinking from Galaxy. So their little family is going to thrive over on this side of the island, it seems. And then of course we have Seashell and Timber sitting right over here at their nest as well. They're also going to be starting a little family together because of course they both have the dots. So we won't have to worry about those dots not getting past their babies, I don't think. I mean, maybe there's a chance that the panda patterns might get passed along because I know we have had that happen before. Those pesky hidden genetics like to come out right when we're least expecting it. But hopefully all of their babies will have the spots, and that'll give us just a little bit more of that camouflage when we do make it to the jungle. For now, we could have Timber come over here to peer in a little bit more of this grass, and then I believe Seashell has just a couple more berries that she could possibly pick for herself so that she has enough to eat. And all of these bunnies, oh my gosh, this is literally a bunny invasion. We have had so many bunnies just hopping around all corners of the island, picking all of our berries, stealing all of our food. I am very tempted just to leave this island to the bunnies at this point. I mean, clearly they are very interested in taking this place over for themselves. The bunnies back here with Nebula are being a particular nuisance, but she's actually making her way over toward the swamps to, oh my goodness, let her brothers know that their family has basically all passed away. We have so many skeletons around here now, so many of the older pack mates have unfortunately passed, but we definitely need to swipe this bunny up. There we go, and there's another one. Honestly, there are just so many bunnies here. It is absolutely crazy. So as Nebula brings the news to her brother Shadow, who is currently clearing out a little bit of this grass from his own family, I think maybe his children will hear that and decide that they want to explore that area as well. So Rodukduk could actually escort maybe Nightshade and Snakeweed since they're a little bit younger than he is. He could go ahead and scoot up this way to light up the area a little bit more. It looks like this nest actually needs to be repaired too. I suppose we probably should do that. We'll leave that there so that somebody can put a little bit more nesting material on it later. And we'll have Nightshade and Snakeweed go ahead and play some leapfrog through the grass. There we go. So we're spreading these guys out a little bit more because they are definitely going to need to get rid of all of this darkness up here, especially as a lot of our creatures are actually going to start migrating toward the eastern portions of the island where these ports in particular are. This is the next island we're going to go to as soon as we have enough able-bodied creatures to hopefully defend us from the new dangers. But let's have Shadow scoot over here so that he can peek in a little bit more of this grass later on, and then his son Hemlock is going to have to take up the duty of picking up all of these acorns. Now I think I may have messed up the staggering of our families a little bit, especially in regards to the mutation menu. Of course we have Twilight sitting in a nest right now because she was actually defending this berry bush from a bunny, but we also have Seashell in a nest, we have Seafoam in a nest, and I think it might be a good idea to have maybe Nova breed one more time with her mate. So we might go ahead and do that, but that means that we're probably going to place the lean body in the mutation menu instead of the toxic body that we wanted on Twilight's babies. She still has a bit of life left in her anyway though, so there's still a possibility that she could maybe have another baby with a toxic body, but for now I am going to focus on the lean body today, so let's place that right in the 30% slot, and then I guess we'll leave the stripes there too, because that's another thing that we really want to see mutated on more of our creatures, especially as little Elm is going to be passing in the next day. This is her very last day, so let's let her gather up all of the food that she possibly can, since of course that was her very favorite pastime, just collecting food for everyone to eat. She has made it all the way over here too, and of course that leaves poor little Ebony all on her own now. All of her family members have completely passed away at this point, right next to each other too. Oh, how sweet is that? Ismene passed away in the exact same spot as her brother Ash. Well, we can at least have Ebony go ahead and pick up this acorn for us, And then we want her to start scooting her own little way, hopping her way actually with her little frog toes down the shore to hopefully find a place where she can settle down too. Of course, even though we have this bunny here, that's not going to be very good for her because she does have the lean body, she has the nimble fingers, she does not have any way of attacking, so she is also quite the pacifist, just like her father. We're going to have to leave her right there for now though, and then we could have Anara go ahead and pick up all of these little berries on the bush. So since she has the ram horns, I think it would be a good idea to breed her with somebody, because we definitely want to keep either the ram horns or the antlers on our creatures, just because it gives us that extra little boost in strength. Of course, as always, the one problem with her is that she does have immunity gene F. So the only reason why I haven't actually bred Roduk with anyone yet, because he does have that special immunity gene C, is that all of our unmatched females currently have immunity F. So we're just crossing our fingers at this point that a little baby girl is going to be born without F in her genes. Right now, actually, we have like all sons. I think we are running a little bit low on females, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. But we could have maybe Kirku start making his way over this way too, so that he can clear out a little bit more grass as well. And then for that matter, why don't you, Anara, just scoot around to the other side of the berry bush, just so that we can light up the area a little bit more for you. Now I suppose we could have Nova scoot over here to breed with her mate and then plop down another nest, so that she'll have that ready on the next turn, and then they can have just one more baby. Now I believe it is just down to Juniper back here. Juniper with her berry bush and all of those pesky bunnies. And oh my goodness, did we miss the berries again? Did we really miss the berries again? I think we actually did. There are still more bunnies out here then, out and about somewhere, hopping around out here, just stealing your berries time after time. Even this one is completely empty. So let's go ahead and at least pick up some of the grass. I mean, I guess that's all that we can really do, and Juniper is actually kind of making her way back toward this tree, so maybe she could clear out a little bit more of the area for the new creatures who are going to be settling down there. But for now, let's just take a quick peek again. Yep, our mutation menu is set up correctly for most of the pairings in here. So I guess let's zoom in on these guys right here. We'll zoom in on Seafoam and see what her next little baby is going to look like, and hopefully we won't have any carnivore visitors. Okay, it looks good, but look at that. I think we might be in the middle of a drought. It looks like our berry bushes have actually kind of shriveled up a little bit. They've gone a little bit dry, so that's not a particularly good sign. But let's see what this little baby looks like. Unfortunately, he does not have the lean body or the stripes, but isn't he adorable? In fact, he looks very similar to his brother, but just without the spots. So why don't we name him Tadpole? Little Tadpole and Little Tidepool. Maybe they'll take a page out of their mother's book and travel around together when they get a little bit older. I do believe, though, that we have another bunny situation. So could we actually have Sandstorm jump back here and grab the bunny for us? We actually could, I think. Like, we have so many different icons right here. This is the one that's going to attack the bunny, right? There we go. We didn't want to accidentally hurt his mother. That would not be a good thing. But let's go ahead and I suppose we could gather up the meat, or maybe we should have Umbra come over here to scare the bunnies apparently, but also to breed with Quicksand so that she'll be able to go into the nest on the next turn. But oh my gosh, all these bunnies. Okay, so Umbra, why don't you go ahead and slice this bunny too? Like, we have so much meat just piling up here that we can't even collect right now. We could have Quicksand pick up one of the little bunches of bunny meat and then finally sit in this nest. There we go. So she'll be able to have another baby on the next turn. And I think we should probably focus, I guess, on picking up some of these berries too, especially since the food is getting a little bit scarce. Galaxy could come over here and pick up these berries for us, and then Umbra can use his last turn to go ahead and gather up the meat, and then I suppose Seafoam could scoot over this way just to clear out a little bit more of this area. We could give Tidepool his other gem, and I believe Quicksand is also going to need his second gem too. There we go. And then you guys can just clear out the area for us. So let's sniff around too, just to make sure that there's nothing particularly menacing out here. So far so good. So far so good. And before we take a look at the rest of the babies, why don't we actually finally allow Juniper to pick her berries like she has wanted to for so very long now. There we go. So you finally managed to grab up a little bit of food for yourself, and it looks like the bunnies have actually hopped away, so who knows, maybe she'll be able to pick up more later. Now we have a new little baby back here. Oh my goodness. Again, it's so much like his father. I think the only difference is the mane color. colors. All of the boys have had different mane colors so far. He's also a little bit more plain than some of his other siblings because he doesn't have the warning dots, and of course he doesn't have the antlers either. So it's a little bit unfortunate as far as the genetics for our jungle line goes, but we can still name him, how about Larkspur? That might be a good name for him, and then he will be able to help us at least push out the territory and hopefully pick up all of this darkness too, because we have so much of that. And oh my gosh, look at this little baby. Oh, she has the stripes, and there we go. She also has the lean body. All right, so we managed to get both of the mutations that we were looking for on that baby, which is kind of ironic because, of course, the stripes is not exactly what we were expecting from this pairing, but that will help us when we're in the jungle because it increases our camouflage when we're in the grass, so it's not a complete waste. She also does not have immunity gene F. There we go, that's looking good. So we could breed her for her lean body and her stripes, and also, of course, to get rid of that immunity gene F problem. So she will definitely have to make her own little migration way up here where most of the pack is gathering to go to the jungle. I think that is definitely going to be where she ends up as she grows. Of course, she can't do anything right now because she's so very tiny, but we could have Seashell maybe scoot over here, and then breed with Timber again, and then hopefully set down another nest. There we go, we have a ton of this nesting material, so it seems like we will be just fine. Now we have this baby way back here as well. Oh my gosh, all of these nimble fingers, honestly. But it is better than having the no paw. So I guess you guys can start clearing a path up this way. Oh geez, and there was a mole in there too. We haven't actually seen the moles in a while. We do have quite a few of the mole hills around here, but they typically tend to scoot away before we can actually grab them. So why don't we go ahead and clear out this grass? We could actually connect this territory to our previous pathway. Oh my goodness, if there aren't any rocks in the way at least. And it seems like we have some fish over here too. Oh, okay, so we could actually come over here with some of our clawed creatures and maybe scoop up those fish. And in fact, Rokirku might be the one to do that because he does have that big claw. So we'll have to see if maybe he can grab a couple of those little fish in the water on the next turn. And Ebony, meanwhile, is making her way right up here to meet her mother again. I'm thinking that she probably doesn't remember her mother too well. I'm not sure if she would even know that this is her mother to begin with because she only saw her, I want to say, on like the first day of her life. Nova, on the other hand, I feel like would definitely recognize at the very least her father in her, so she might be a little bit suspicious seeing this creature wander up in their territory. But why don't we actually have Anara follow her little brother now, because I'm getting a little bit worried about him and I'm sure she is too. So she can follow him down the shore as he clears out a little bit more of this grass for us, and oh my gosh, he found a little mole friend. If only he had that extra turn, then he could actually snag it, but I guess for now he can just chat with the mole. Now thankfully it seems like Snakeweed is fully grown, so Rodukduk doesn't have to worry too much about his siblings anymore, because she'll also be able to protect them a little bit. And there's another one of those moles. Okay, let's see if maybe Nightshade could come over here and grab him. There we go, so somebody will be able to pick up that mole. Actually, that was the mole where Spruce used to sit. So that mole finally got to see the light of day, and then we promptly snuffed it right back out. But we should be able to get pretty far with these guys. Maybe Snakeweed could even meet up with Juniper way back here with her bunnies again. Oh no, they have returned. Snakeweed, you are definitely going to have to help her take care of her bunny situation because she is getting so very upset. Now I think we'll wait to breed Twilight until the next turn so that we can properly take advantage of that mutation menu, and for now we'll just move her down here. We could actually have her repair this nest so that it's nice and ready for the next turn. Now since Quicksand is going to be giving birth on this turn, I think what we might actually do is swap out maybe the claw. If we could put the claw in here instead, just in case that'll make it a little bit easier for the claw to pass over those nimble fingers. I mean, it's especially strange because of course she has the claw, Umbra has the claws, so you would expect that at least one of their babies would have one of their claws, but that just hasn't been the case yet. And we actually forgot to name this little baby too. Let's name her Wisp because she's so tiny. She looks so very tiny next to her parents and in that giant nest, so Wisp is probably a very suitable name for her. But let's go ahead and zoom in yet again on this family right over here to, of course, make sure that we won't have any problems with the carnivores, and there is the rain. There we go. Oh my goodness. This is a particularly good luck baby because she has the violet eyes, of course, which I adore. She has the black fur, the dots, and she has those double claws. So I guess it worked after all, or we were just particularly lucky with this one, with the claws on both of her parents, but oh my gosh, she is adorable. She looks like a little warrior. Finally, we are getting our line of warrior squirrels. So she is another one who will definitely be a very big help to us when we do move to the next island. And I think maybe for her, let's name her Luna. That would probably be a good name for her. So Luna, our little warrior, our very first official warrior on the island. The only thing she's missing, of course, are some form of antlers or ram horns, but she still has a 5 in strength, so that's still going to help us out very, very much as we run into all of these different dangers in the jungle. And I think I see yet another one of those spotty little babies in the nest. Oh my goodness, he is adorable too. He looks like a little Dalmatian, just like his mother, in fact. So he doesn't have the lean body either, unfortunately, but he does have the stinky tail, which is very good to see. And he's another one of those creatures who does not have F in his genetics, thank goodness. So it'll be a little bit easier for us to pair these creatures up in the future. But for his name, let's actually name him Wink. So we have a Wisp and we have a Wink sitting in this nest over here, and they are absolutely adorable together. Now, I think we wanted to breed Twilight on this turn, so we'll give all of the other families a little bit of a rest. They can get settled and get to know each other, and then we'll have Shadow come over here. If he's not going to scare away this mole, I mean, I guess technically we could just swipe the mole and grab up the meat. There we go, and then we'll move Shadow right over here so Twilight can breed with him and then sit in this nest for us. So before we forget, let's go ahead and shuffle around the mutation menu a little bit. Of course, we do want that toxic body right in the 30% slot. And then I believe the other thing we wanted to take a look at was some sort of paw, because their father does have the no paw himself. So you guys have said that the runner leg is a little bit easier to pass over the velvet paw, which is why we're trying to breed out the no paw with the running leg instead of something a little bit more beneficial to the jungle. So we'll put the running leg in the mutation menu and cross our fingers that it works. But otherwise, it's just time to gather up all of the food and spread these guys out a bit. So there is a ton of food to collect, and actually, oh my goodness, let's go right back here so that hopefully Juniper will be able to gather up. Oh no, she has already missed her chance with one of the berry bushes, so definitely gather up as many as you can right here. And oh geez, wrong move, little bunny. You are definitely going to swipe up this bunny for us instead. So gather up the berries just so that we can hopefully pick that before the bunnies do. And for that matter, Snakeweed is on her way, so she could scoot right over here and pick up the meat for you. There you go. So now you finally have a partner way out here to hopefully defend all of the berry bushes from the bunnies with. Roduke and Nightshade are also making their slow way over, so don't worry, we are definitely on the move. And there's another one of those bunnies. Honestly, I mean, these guys are giving us more food than we've ever had before. Are there even more bunnies out here somewhere? It actually seems like it may have gone a little bit quiet, so we may have finally defeated the bunnies. All of these bunnies hopping around our island. I think so. We just have like this little one way back here that we'll have to keep an eye on. And in fact, if we move maybe timber around all of these rocks and whatnot, then we might be able to get to the bunny just in case it hops out, because I feel like it's probably waiting for just the right opportunity to jump in here and grab this berry bush. But not on Seashell's watch, of course, because she keeps a very, very close eye on her berries. Let's have her move over here and pick up as many as she possibly can. And then for that matter, oh no, Wisp is a little bit too young. Okay, we could move her right out of the nest at the very least so that she can enjoy the feel of the sand between her toes. She does look very, very similar to the sandy ground anyway, just like her grandmother did. So a little bit of a throwback in her as well, which is quite interesting. And then we have this giant family back here to use up all the turns of. We could have Galaxy go ahead and scoop up as many berries as possible with his big nimble fingers. And then a Seafoam can go ahead and help him out too. And of course, clear out the grass, because again, that is the main concern with this area over here. So let's clear out a little bit more. Let's have a Sandstorm go ahead and help out too. Now I think Tidepool is definitely going to want to spend time with his cousin back here. So let's have them travel together way back into all of this wilderness, I guess. We haven't explored anything over here, so maybe they could make their own little pathway up to where everyone is currently gathering for the jungle. Now I feel like it may have been this berry bush that caught Kiriku's eye. So after Anir gathers up as many berries as she can possibly carry, she'll go after her little brother just to make sure that he's safe as he wanders off to find his own berry bush too. So he can scoot right up to the swampland right here, and then Hemlock of course can gather up his acorns that he has underneath this tree and knock down a few more too, and he can watch very suspiciously as Kirikou Pooh and a Nair both make their way right up to his berries, though I'm sure he won't mind as long as they are willing to share all of the food that they collect. Now, Ebony, why don't you go ahead and help out your newfound family? Again, I'm not quite sure if she would remember Nova, but she would be willing to help out. And now, where did those fish go? The fish are still over here, but they're just a little bit too far away for Rokirku to catch. Maybe Dukvan could actually scare them if he goes over here? No, unfortunately, they're just a little bit too smart for us. Though we do have some more fish over on this side, and we don't have to worry about that deep water over here, so we should be able to snag it. Oh my gosh, if we get just close enough. But instead, we do have a bunny to grab. So we'll go ahead and grab that up so that somebody can collect the meat on the next turn. And then Nuvanu, you might as well toddle off after your family because they are all wandering right down this path here, and we don't want you to get separated from them. Now, I think that is, again, all of the turns that we can use, so let's just have Timber go ahead and peek in this grass for us, since that bunny seems to have disappeared. It definitely hopped off, so I'm not quite sure where that one went, but at least it's not trying to steal our berries anymore. Now, who do we have giving birth on this turn? Just Twilight back here. Just Twilight. So let's cross our fingers that hopefully she'll have one more toxic-bodied baby, so that maybe Snakeweed will have somebody to go to the jungle with. Oh, it doesn't look like it, but she does have the cracker jaw and the antlers. All right, and the warning dots too. Excellent. So all very, very good things from this baby. I think we'll name her Holly. And then we'll go ahead and let her family continue to carve out the rest of the grass in this area. Though they have almost completely gotten rid of all of the grass here, we just have a little bit more darkness to worry about. So as long as we're not in a situation where we might have carnivores swooping in on our creatures, then I think we'll be okay. And again, so far so good. We haven't had another one of those situations in quite a while, so cross your fingers that the goddess of war is appeased by the strength that our creatures showed over here, and hopefully she won't want to give us another scare again, I guess. So thankfully we do seem to be getting to the point where a lot of the no paw situation is actually finally disappearing in our pack. Of course, we have the adorable Luna over here who needs her orange gem just like her mother, and we should probably also change tadpoles over to orange too so that we know that they're all from the same family, because they are also going to be making their big migrations in the future all the way up to where Snakeweed and Juniper are currently sat down right next to their berry bushes. And in fact, maybe they could just travel along as they continue on their family. Hopefully they'll stumble across another one of those permanent nests out here, but even if they don't, we could just gather up all of the nesting material that we have currently settled out and then place the nest down as they go. That would be particularly fitting for this family because, of course, Quicksand and Seafoam have always loved to just wander around together, and then we kind of saw the same thing in Galaxy and Umbra, and I feel like once again it is going to be just the same for Sandstorm and Little Tide Pool. So definitely a strong sense of wanderlust in this family, but that will be particularly helpful as we continue moving everyone a little bit closer to those jungle ports, because I think we're almost ready. We have our lean-bodied creatures now. So many of our creatures are actually black in fur color, which is definitely going to help us. And of course we have the spots appearing, we have the stripes appearing, so we are getting very, very close now, guys. I know it has been a very long time, but thanks for sticking with me for so long. I know we're going to enjoy the jungle once we finally get there too. So for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys!